Rainy day at the shop. This sandrail's pretty cool though, I guess. If you like sandrails that are tan, camo tan, which I mean, yeah, right? It's got a cutting brake. Right? So, too bad it doesn't shift. And that's what it's here for. It also needs other things, steering disc and, you know, stuff. But we're gonna get it shifting. What somebody did with their infinite wisdom is they went ahead and they made an interesting shift linkage for this thing. They drilled a couple of extra holes in the transmission. They put a bunch of set screws into a coupler, and then they took that coupler into a U-joint so that it would apparently sit where they wanted it to, I guess, but they weren't really thinking about how to make it shift properly. And then they took that U-joint into another coupler and then tightened it up to this little shift box, which is made by Jammer. It's a jammer jobber. I've actually never known how to pronounce that. I know how to pronounce that one, though. That's CNC. So, yeah, I went ahead and took this whole thing apart because the shifter was completely busted on here. And after getting it completely apart, I realized that, hey, you know, this thing could be made to shift if only somebody didn't do a linkage like this. So, like, this is just not what you want when you're shifting in any way, shape, or form. They've even got, like, a little bend in the shaft. And so, you know, the whole thing could be made to work. I got trapped. It can get trapped under here if it doesn't go exactly the right direction and all that. Because it's supposed to be a short throw, so it's supposed to be kind of limited up. So when it gets goofied up like that, I got to kind of monkey with it to get it in the right position again. Okay, so after I monkeyed with it for a bit and got it so it'll now, you know, make your pattern, this is your, you know, standard VW H pattern, which is first is up in the front, and then second is back, and then third is over, and then fourth is over as well and back. So you can see what it, you know, what it should be doing. That'd be first, second, and then you can see it does rotate at the U-joint. I mean, it's not a bad idea. The problem is that it's just no good. It just doesn't work. So that's the problem. They tried. They tried really hard. We're going to weld up a shift linkage for it and see what the heck happens. We'll relocate the box, and we're going to use a factory shift rod for it. So, factory shift coupler, factory shift rod, kind of generic, but for the appropriate year of this transaxle, which would be in the 70s. And I can use some of what's already here to fabricate this up. The problem is, with where the transaxle is here, that shift rod would put your shifter all the way up here. So it's got to be shortened up a good bit. The other problem is it's probably not going to want to avoid the seat. So I'm going to have to probably pull a seat out, connect it all up. Yeah. We'll just see what happens. It's going to be fun. It's always fun. It is an absolute deluge outside. The word of the day is deluge. This shift fork end at the front of the transmission here is all marred up. We've actually got a hole on the bottom side. And then, well, not a hole, but a divot, like these top side divots. And then they got a divot on the top side. And I'm like, cool, thanks guys. You know, whoever did that, give them an A. They were making sure that old shifting mechanism was going to stay in place. But I'm going to just do this sort of a thing to it. Still not sure if I'm going to have to pull the seat out or not, so I'm kind of operating in this zone of we shall see. But we're just going to
take this down a little bit. This is 180 grit sandpaper. Doing a little push me, pull me. Alright. It feels better than it was. And this is finer than 180, 600 grit. So we're going to just polish it a little bit. The 600. And if you're wondering why the shop is a mess, it's because I haven't cleaned in forever. Like, forever. It's just been a steady flow of jobs, which is fine. But I'm overdue to get all my work surfaces back. And then they'll go away again in like 5 minutes. But it'll make me feel good for like a second. I like to feel good. Feeling good is good enough for me. R.I.P. Christopherson. A little polish up on this. These little guys are 8mm on the flats. 8mm. And everything's a solid. And if you have a 12.9mm socket, sometimes it will fit over it corner to corner. Sometimes a 10 will catch it, but we're not going to call it happy when it catches it. It's a little on the loose side. So I'm going to snug that down pretty decent. Make sure it's not leaving. So it can go there, it's not hitting the frame. It can go there, it's rubbing this cable, but we're going to reroute that cable anyway because that cable's in a really asinine spot. And then, as I break my wrist, and then the shift rod will come up and go through here, and there'll be this coupling bolt. Voila! That goes through there, like that, and goes through that hole in the center of it. And then that'll allow the shift rod to kind of pivot up and down, and also do the side-to-side dance, known as the Fandango. Let's talk leverage. So I can put this little guy in here. It's a set screw that they've got rocking on this. They actually have two, one on each side. And I can just, bend it and hurt myself. Or I can put it in like this, and I can go like this and kind of close my hand and try and push it open. Or I can go like this. We're trying to loosen this, by the way, so we're going like that. So, professional sound effects. So I can also do this and see if I can get it like that. But there's a plethora of options. But the worst one really is to just lock it in the side like this and kind of go like that, and then I got to counteract the whole box and everything. It's far better to start with something more incremental and put the leverage into it that way. And it just really feels like it's going to strip the heck out. Let's try the bottom one. Can also lock it in a vise. See what I just said? That's not the ideal way to do it. And then what do I go and do? Go and do something dumb like that. Yeah, we're gonna lock this in the vise. All my work surfaces are cluttered. Oh man, I got a fancy tool for this. If only I can find it. need to find my fancy tool. Oh, there it is. Look at how fancy this is. Oh, yeah. Kim? Helps when you talk to it. Come on. It's the tiniest little Allen key that they used for this. They really hate us right now. Okay, so there's another option. When your fancy tool doesn't work, man, it's a real bummer. So, I'm gonna go here. Grab this one. Let's see what size this says it is. That says it is a 1/8. Cute. 1/4 inch 1/8 there. Right? And then more fancy tools. Look at that guy. How fancy. And then in here, there may or may not be, depending on if I broke it and never replaced it, a 1/4 inch. Ooh, that's the wrong one. Oh no, I'm out of my step down adapter. Okay, let's go here. It's okay, we can do this another way. I believe I can fly. No, and where there's a will, there's a way. So my 1/4 inch adapter was broken. My 3/8 step down the 1/4 inch. So I have ironically, a 3/8 step down. Well, it's not a step down, but I've engineered my own. And ironically, it's a 3/8 to a 1/4 inch, like 1/4 inch 3/8 socket. Anyway, and then an actual 1/4 inch Matco adapter. Hashtag not a sponsor. And I could always hit on this with an impact, but this impact hammer deal is a little bit safer overall. We're just gonna see. I don't know my own strength. Gotta get this vise set up a little bit differently. I can set it up like that, maybe, sure. Yeah, sure, why not? It's just gonna not work anyway. Alright. So there we go, loosening. To use one of these, you pretty much just hold it the direction you want it to go. And you hope to God that it spins. That's called breaking the bit off in it. To be continued. That's hilarious. I mean, really funny time. Okay. Well. Who knew? Who knew? We're just gonna put that away. Pretend that didn't happen. Put that in the pile of things that are broken. Okay, so we're gonna try with the 1/8 inch 3/8, and you're like, hey Brandon, why didn't you try that before? Well, because I forgot that I had it. And it feels like it's gonna snap, or break, or pop, or something. Just twisting, is it? Ho ho! Yeah, alright. We might be in drill out territory, which is okay. I don't mind drilling things out. Because anything small enough to get into this sucker is just gonna destroy itself. Well, that's why I don't use this kit very often. Lifetime. Gotta make some exchanges. Let's drill it out. I just can't bring myself to drill it out. I feel like I gotta be able to get it. Maybe I'm wrong. Now that we've used an excessive amount of heat on it, let's see. And if this doesn't work, then we'll drill it out. Oh, we're gonna have to drill it. Yeah? No? No? Yeah? Yeah? Oh, did you see the twist on that thing? Look at that. It just wants to twist her right up. Mm-hmm. Okay. Look at that, gave it a twist. Should have drilled it. So here we have the shortened shift rod. Okay, shorter. Cool. Also shorter. Just wound up cutting the coupling down because none of the screws would extract. Wasn't worth it. Sometimes after you break 3 tools, you just learn to call it quits. So the idea, generally speaking, is this. Very generally speaking. Okay. And ba-ba-bum. Voila. Now I can work on the angle of it. This is a little bit bent. I'll straighten that out in a vise, try and get it a little bit better overall. And that should do it. So yeah, that's 16 1/4 inches. And we get it, something like that. And then this is adjustable, so the entire rod will be adjustable to a point. I could probably make it. No, I'm gonna have to do a little flattening of that, no matter what. But the entire rod will be adjustable, but it'll only adjust on the half increments because it'll have to line up with the holes. So you'll be able to go 180 and then 360 and then 180 and then 360, obviously, and get some turn adjustments here so that you can fine tune the depth of the throw of the shifter. And really position it. So if you wanted it positioned further back towards the driver or farther away, whatever, you can twist that up on this. And I had to chase the threads on this and do a whole bunch of different things. But this is where we've arrived at for today. The rain has subsided a little bit. It is less of a deluge. The word of the day is deluge. And I'm going home. Now we've got this cleaned up, the little barrel nut, and the shift rod is ready to go. It's cut to length and everything. It's just got to be welded up, make 2 into 1, and then it can be installed in the car, and then the shift box can be permanently Sandrail, car used loosely. And then the shift box can be bolted down to the chassis, and we can see if she runs and shifts. Okay, so everything's set up now,
and we're going to weld on just the tip. Smoking. Now what you want to... No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Now we're going to grind it down. Done. How silly is my hair? Okay, so we've got our one-piece shift rod before I paint it all up and everything. We're going to test fit, do a test install. So here goes. Getting it to thread on the shift box, if you will, is going to be the difficult part. So the way that I'm going about it is I'm leaving the shift box loose so I can angle it, so I can try and get it threaded up on there. And the bar is not perfectly straight. It's got a little bit of an angle, and I jigged it up that way semi-intentionally. And a little haphazardly, if I'm being honest. But I wanted it to make the subtlest of adjustments, or to be able to make the subtlest of adjustments downward, because this bar is a little bent going through the shift box. So, gotta find that other... Where's the hole? There it is. Okay. And
That's what I thought. The shift rod is going to have to be... It's got its natural... There we go. So yeah, it's got its natural angle in it, which is necessary to get it straight. So there's sort of a top side and a bottom side to it. If you see there, if I rotate this around for adjustment, that's kind of the top side. It works, but it tips the box down. So if I go this way, is the natural cant that I built into the rod. Hopefully I did it correctly. If not, we can always bend the box, the rod going through the box to make it appropriate. Here's where we're at. I've got the new linkage rod installed. Everything's just pretty much mocked up. So, you know, this guy's only hand tight back here. This is actually snug tight. Snug tight, technical term. Here's neutral. We're in neutral right now. Now this shift box itself is pretty worn out. But we're reusing it because that's the best way to go for this thing right now. It can always be replaced in the future. It won't be as worn. So I'm not sitting in the cockpit. So the tricky thing is that all the way over the first stop guide, it's not quite correct for this transaxle. So it's pretty much locked if you try and use the guide used loosely, because this particular box doesn't really have one. So if you're trying to use the wall or the gate, if you will, you're not going to get there. So basically straight up in front, that's first. And if you see the angle of the shift coupler, that's going to tell you everything. So that's first there. We're going to pull back to second, straight back. See, the angle of the shift coupler is still the same. Then we're headed towards third now, and as soon as I push over towards that gate, you can see the shift coupling. You know, this is second, straight back. We're headed towards third here. You can see the shift coupling want to take and go to third, so that's going to be third with it angled over like that, and then fourth is going to be straight ahead of that. So there's our third, fourth, and that is on the wall of the gate. So that's pretty decent. You can see how banged up this shift coupler, well, not the shift coupler itself, but the shift fork is inside the nose cone of the transmission. There's a lot of wobble there. Less so now that I've installed the rod. It's keeping it pretty straight. But so third, fourth, and then this would be the gate for first, but it's too much of an angle for it. So it's going to be like this for first and that for second. And I'm going to see if I can limit that gate amount. If I can keep it to this, then this whole shift box would be really nice. But right now it goes all the way over here. If I can limit it so that it only sits right there, it'll go into first and second every time, and also third and fourth. So I'm going to take the whole thing out, paint the shift rod black for rust prevention and protection, and I'm going to look into trying to get this box to be gated a little bit less to the driver's side, a little bit less to the left, a little more center. And we'll see what happens when it's gated left of center. Okay, so we were having a problem with the shift gate. And let me show you what is going on here. So inside here, there's the reverse lockout bar, if you will, which gets pushed down by this lever. So you're going to see it move here when I pump this lever in. The reverse lockout gets out of the way and allows the shifter to fall all the way over to the side, all the way to the driver's side, if you will, as it would be in the car in its correct orientation. So it'll let it fall to the driver's side and then back, and that'll allow you to shift in a second gear, right? Or reverse, rather, instead of second gear. Now, that is also functioning, as you can see, as your gate for first. So when this is in the car like this, first is a tap over and forward, right? Or it's straight ahead and forward. Well, this is allowing it to go too far over to the driver's side so that forward it binds up, right? If it were more just straight ahead like this, then it would go into first and it would go into second. I just over-indexed it. It would go into second, it would go into third, and it would go into fourth correctly. Okay, but we're getting too much play towards the driver's side. So in order to alleviate that, you can see when I go towards the driver's side, this moves from the underside there. This moves towards my left, right? Orientation in the car would be moving towards the right. So what I need to do is I need to make this reverse lockout plate thicker, right? But it is removable, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to get in there and do all that. So instead of making it thicker, all we really need to do is shim it. So we're going to put a washer underneath it. It's on a pivot bolt here. This bolt has a nylock on it so that it's actually be able to be left loose so that it can be pivoted on, right? We're going to grease all that up when we get it off as well. Put some anti-seize around there and everything to keep it moving and functioning fresh. We're going to run a washer between that plate and the actual box body on the inside. And there's plenty of room for that selection rod to go deeper into the actual handle, the actual little punch button for the reverse. So that's how we're going to go about this. I hope I've framed it okay with the glasses that I'm wearing so that you guys can get an idea of what we're doing. But we're going to put a washer right in there. And it's an Allen key from the top. I don't know if you guys have an angle on that. But it's an Allen up top. And then whatever size nut that is. Looks like it might be a 3/8. It's a 7/16 nut. Oh, look at that. It's kind of threaded in there. So, in order to do this, I'm going to have to unthread it. We're looking at a 5/32. So, I'll get hooked up with a 5/32 on a little ratchet. We're all set up. Too tall. Okay, so that's where we're going to shim up our plate. It's going to be right in between there and there, and then that should allow it to have a little bit better selection of first gear on the gate. Our goal is to make it as smooth as possible, so it's as enjoyable as possible to drive. Yeah. So we're going to get some anti-seize on here. It's okay to be a little excessive with it right now. Wipe that off so there's no grease contamination on it. And then we'll go and send a little washer in here. I'm gonna do it like this. Possibly. I used the button to help index it there. I think that one washer is going to be enough for us on this adventure, but we're going to find out. If we need to do two, we'll do two. Put the nylock back on the outside. Gotta make sure it can rotate still. Actually, might might be a little too loose. Seems like a good action. All right, so now the gate is actually held over a little bit too far because of the way that that bar operates. But there's a chance that it's actually going to be good. It does actually seem like it's in a pretty good straight line zone. And of course we can still go for 3 and 4 over there. So we're going to try it like that and see if that has made the difference down in there. You can see how it kind of parts ways with the wall of it. It is removable. I could take it all the way out and weld it thicker. But I think this is actually going to be all right. Also, if I loosened the screw up a little bit, I could make it so that it's actually got a little spring action play to it as well. So it would stop and gatekeep, as it were. But I actually think we're going to be all right with this, the way it is. So we're going to put a little anti-seize on this guy. And a little bit on the end because there's a jam nut on there. It's going to butt up to it. We do want it to jam up and stay stuck pretty decent. We don't want it to come loose. But we also don't want it to rust on there. And because this is pretty much open cockpit, well, I think that's the proper way to describe that. Yeah. So, here we are. Hey, Addie, how you? How are you? Yeah, good girl. She's like, why'd you wake me up, fool? Alright. There we go. Shift rod's all painted up, by the way. Look at how nice that is. That's pretty, right? That's pretty decent, is what it is. Pretty decent. Alright. Here we go. You know what's missing? The jam nut. There it is. Thread the jam nut on here. Glory be. Now this time I have the transmission in a gear. Which gear was it? Third, I want to say. So there we go. Makes it easier to line things up a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit. I want to say it was third. Might have been first. Okay. So I'm going to send this guy through here. It was a rainy day yesterday, so there's some water here in the shop. We're going to use the fasteners that they had, and we're going to tighten this up. That was almost check tension on those in a moment when I'm sure that we're in a good spot with the box. That would be first. So we're going to tighten this up in first because that's going to give us our best chance of having a really nice alignment. It'll hold the shifter over while I tighten it by finger as tight as I can go. Okay. And then I'm going to have to grab a wrench for that, and I've got the adjustable for this. So added a little bit of safety wire here because the factory would have had that, and it's the safest thing to do. Safety first, safety wire first. And then there's the shift rod in there. You can see it's nice and run all the way through. And we've got a pretty decent gate on it overall. The box is tight. Like I said, this shift fork up front is notchy. But nothing we can do about that. The old shifter was really bad for it and beat the crap out of the transaxle. So at some point it'll be in for a transaxle rebuild and a shift fork and all that stuff. But for right now, first, second, third, fourth, third, second, first, second, third, fourth, third, fourth, third, fourth, first, second, first, second, first, second. Reverse, second, reverse, second, first, third, fourth. What a beauty. We should have a spin.
So what have we learned? We've learned that this is not a worthy shift linkage. This thing is a bunch of junk. You ready? Should we do it? It's right there. Yeah, it's tan like you. Yeah, but you're faster. You're definitely faster than this. Nothing's as fast as a greyhound.
Hey.
We're gonna replace this steering coupler. There goes my socket. There's your old one. And there's your new one. Put Germany so the driver can read it. Style points. Part of the reason the old one deformed so badly is because the angle of the steering box. So we're in a steering box, that's the technical term for it, and that'll give a better angle for this because it's going to eat into the driver's space a little bit, but not that much, and it'll be a much better placement overall. So should be two 17mm bolts on this puppy. There may be lock tabs on it. I don't know. They're not being utilized. So two 17mm and pop it free and clock it. So now we have a much better alignment. Loosened the two 17 millimeters, rotated the steering box. What we're gonna do is we're gonna send through bolts for the shift coupler now. So it'll be all attached up. And then we'll tighten the steering box down. Grab the torque wrench and we'll check it really quick and check it in the book and then set it to the proper torque. And then it's ready for test drive. Now we can shift, now we can steer safely. This hunk of garbage is long gone. It's out of the picture. Well, we finally got nice weather, so we can go test drive. Not a good day to die.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to the channel. If you want to support in other ways, check out the Be Air Cooled website. It's beaircooled.com, and you can maybe grab a t-shirt or get yourself a lid. Whatever makes you feel happy. Floats your boat, powers your wagon. This is all about fun. It's all about the community and culture of the air-cooled lifestyle, the classic car lifestyle, the classic motoring experience. I'm doing this because it's something that I love doing, and I like being able to share it with you. So the best way that you can help is to give me those likes, subscribe to the channel, and become a part of this motoring experience, this culture. Become a part of the classic car community, become a part of the air-cooled community. Be air-cooled.